first question to you, LT. How are things shaping up for the last 2 years of the Leonguero Tenorio term? And what are some of your pet projects you're looking to accomplish?
Well, you know, the last 2 years, it's hard to believe that we're already in the last 2 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the first 2 years we had to deal with the typhoon that, of course, none of us could have predicted. And then right now, looks like I have a little typhoon right now with my friend the AG, and you know, dealing with some of the, you know, there's difficulties, right, or at least some that we need to work through with this ARP money that has been obligated to the hospital. But I'll tell you that the big projects I'd like to see that I'm going to be seeing. Number one, you know, finally the groundbreaking and the beginning of construction for Simon Sanchez High School. This has been a long time coming. I also have been spending a lot of time identifying resources to really restore, recover, and build recreational areas and gymnasiums, really for the youth. I always, and this is kind of like why Brandon and I really groove a lot, is the youth, right? I mean, we have a lot of challenges, but when we build things for the community, for the youth, I mean, we're building communities. So I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of stuff there. I've been happy that we've been opening some of them already, but and one big thing, I don't think you guys, we haven't said this publicly yet, but you know, we have some funds lined up for Southern High School sports facilities. You know, we Department of Education they're in over their head, as we know. But what we've talked about with the superintendent is taking over those fields with DPR and pumping in some money, some federal funds. Hopefully we don't get them canceled. But you know, to be able to make that for the community, you know, I mean, the bones down there are so good. We can provide a lot of things for them. And then the other things I'd say is I'm looking forward to opening. We've acquired an apartment building that is going to be transitional housing for my ladies in rehab. The judges are looking at their progress and giving a place for them to reunite with the kids that have been taken from them. I have a facility that's to me that's a major big thing. And then I have a drop-in center for street homeless that, you know, we can do some intervention. Some of them, you know, unfortunately, they don't follow the rules. Maybe they're not prepared to live in a shelter, but certainly, you know, we can try and do some intervention. And I'm always a big thing of, I have a big thing of parks are places, are safe places. They're not places for people to be living at. And if we're going to make sure and clear these parks and keep them safe, then obviously we'll have a place that people can go to at night. So those are some of the things for me that is under my side. And of course, lots of roads that we have lined up to help on the village side.
Good stuff, LT. Frank, I was afraid when the LT said we haven't said this publicly. I thought he was going to announce Brandon as his running mate. So, okay. A little bit calmer.
Not yet.
Well, what is it? Yeah, what I find interesting. Thanks, LT, for that introduction. You know, I was like, God, that's a lot on your plate. But yeah, I noticed your particular, you know, wheelhouse within the administration really are those social programs geared towards the very less fortunate, right? The homeless people, people in transition for addiction and other behavioral challenges, right? So I commend you on that.
But also for the youth, right? I also want to see the excellence, right? We have so 100%. Much talent, giving the place to showcase that talent.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to drive at. You know, everybody here we're all athletes or former athletes, and we got a world champion MMA guy.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly, LT, I'm a basketball guy too. I play a lot of basketball up to this day. Man, I just love seeing those gymnasiums pop up around the island, man. I mean, Manilo, Barragata, my hometown. I mean, it's just beautiful to see that, because you're right. These kids, if you put them in a place, get some good leaders, get some good adult leadership and coaching, and give them a place to congregate and enjoy family and competition. That's a wonderful thing, and I commend you for that. That just makes me so happy. It just does.
So one thing, you always hear people complaining. Oh, we see the kids in the streets. They're all there. How come they're not home? From my time at the court and even now, sometimes we have 13 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. Of course, the kids don't want to stay home, right?
It's hot. There's no aircon.
Yeah. So they need a. So that's my idea. Is my view is we give them a place that they can be, and then we could give them on a good path.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Brandon, you know a little bit about teaching kids. What say you?
I think that song, the old school song, came up. The song about children being our future, and the song hits a little bit different now.
The greatest love of all. I bet that's the one you're talking about, right?
Which one?
I believe the children are our future.
That one.
Hey.
So that song has been hitting a lot differently now because, I'm a father now. I'm way more involved in the community than I used to be. I'm blessed to be in a teaching position and being in a role where I get to watch these kids grow and change. And literally from the beginning of the year, since we implemented martial arts to now, I got to watch the kids from the one who wouldn't even look at anybody on the way into school and sit down at her desk to being the girl to introducing and teaching all the moves in class now. So I've seen what sports can do. I've seen what a safe space can do. I've experienced what a happy place can do for an individual. And that happy place can bloom them into lieutenant governor, future governor,
that's right,
world champion. It can bloom you into your fullest potential. So I'm a huge fan of all of these programs, LT, and
it can rescue kids because let's face it, there's kids you have kids you're teaching that maybe you have an idea something's going on at that home, right? Something's going on, and a lot of times when they have this opportunity to interact with mentors and with their friends, you can rescue them.
Yep. Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct, LT. You're absolutely correct. Yep.
All right. You've tuned in to the VERAfied Podcast. We have our special guest, the Lieutenant Governor, LT. It's no secret.
John, but can I just say something? Yeah, I'm absolutely a fan of mixed martial arts and martial arts because, like Brandon said, right, I've seen kids that it's discipline, it's the self-esteem, it's the confidence, and the ability to interact. As he pointed out, some kids shy, you don't know what's going on with them, but because there's this discipline and there's a goal and there's community. I mean, people, somebody was like, oh, can you believe that they're doing martial arts down at Mount Carmel? I said, it's absolutely a good thing. Let me tell you, because a couple years ago, even when we put out, the governor had a grant program that I helped bring out, and some funds went to support some martial arts programs. And part of it is also to bring up people's confidence and get them out of their isolation. Yeah. I think that people don't understand, but when I go to the matches or to the events, I don't understand all the technical stuff, to be honest with you. And of course, I like being with everybody, but you could tell what is going, what there's. It's not like you just showed up. There has been a long period of preparation getting to that point. People don't understand it. That's one thing that I think is awesome that Mount Carmel is kind of bringing into introducing into Guam in the school level.
Yeah. If you want the biggest smile on your face, LT, go down there and watch Brandon and his wife Jessica conduct a class when you have youngsters and you can see them. I mean, even the troubled ones, Paying attention. You mentioned.
And by the way, it's good for Jessica because if I'm not mistaken, that's her home. Her genes are coming from agate.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Yes,
He's an
LT.
agate girl.
Yes, LT. Yes, sir. Give it a,
All
we get to be back down to agate where Mama's from, where her family originated from. Yeah, her grandma came from. So yes, sir. Guam's been good to us. Full circle. Let's go.
Beautiful.
Good
Beautiful.
times.
All right, LT. It's not a secret. You're running for governor, obviously, right? You've announced that. But I think people, just like us here at VERAfied Podcast, we want to know, what do you hope to accomplish as governor that you can't accomplish now?
Well, in 2 years, in 2026 going into 2027, things on Guam are going to be evolved and much more changed than they are now, meaning that we have some serious times ahead of us. Guam has a major role in national security and in the defense of freedom and democracy. People don't realize that we are living in difficult times. And by the way, all of us, including Brandon, we come from a heritage where freedom was taken from our parents and our grandparents, right? By an invading enemy. And our location is always, I always say that Guam's location is awesome for economic opportunity, but it is a burden also on the security side. And we carry that burden because of who we are. And so for me, Guam's prominence and role in keeping peace and security in the Indo-Pacific and the world is very serious. You need a leader that is not going to fool around and play games and play politics, but understands that there's a role that we have to play in our country and a role that we have to play in leading our people and ensuring their safety. The second thing is, I feel strongly that, right now we're in the midst of recalibrating what our approach to tourism is going to be. Tourism has changed and it is hard, but we must be able to change with who our new tourists are going to be. The consumer behaviors change. Guam used to be an attractive place because we had all these, we had duty free. Duty free is everywhere, right? This concept of duty free. We had all these luxury goods, and they're cheaper now in the areas where our tourists come from. So what it means is that we need to be able to be very strategic and be very robust in making sure that Guam retains its place, but also is able to showcase the reason why we have been an attractive place. We are a safe destination operating under the protection of the U.S. flag. We have a very great population that has a very deep-rooted culture, but we're also supposed to be a fun place. I have to say, I realize that we do things a lot in the legislature, and over time, we have to keep our people safe. But my gosh, things got to be fun again. Why is it that we always have to have kind of like, we can't do this because of this. We need to be balanced in how we operate. I feel that out of everybody that's in the everybody that's within the sphere of leadership right now, I think I have the best balance to move our island forward. That's what I intend to do as the governor.
LT, can we stay there? You mentioned the Guam legislature. 38th Guam legislature now has the majority, first time in 18 years, right? Almost 2 decades. Do you think you can work with these guys in the 38th?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I've had conversations with several of them. I've always been one of the ones that can work across the aisle to try and get things done, because I'm always thinking about what is the objective that we're going to make. When I was in the staff of the legislature, I was one of the ones that you talk to try and get everybody out of the abyss. We don't have a lot of time to be, what's the word I want to use, to be playing around, right? Things are happening so fast to us. You know, the environment is rapidly changing, and you got to be serious, and you have to be and you have to know what you know. You have to realize that these are opportunities for us to really push things forward in a whole good way. And in order to get things done, you know, you find your commonalities with folks. So I'm very optimistic about it.
It's funny though, because Frank and Brandon and I were talking about this earlier. Why was it so difficult to work with the 37th Guam legislature?
You know, I mean, I think the difficulties are. I think the reality is that some of the members don't know how to trust people. You know, I mean, I think as leaders, you know, you have to. I think Reagan always said trust but verify. But if you're going to work with somebody, you're going to have to take a risk. And the risk is that, you know, you have to at least give some faith and give a chance for somebody to work with somebody. You can't immediately shut them down. And there's so much more that we have in common. I mean, there's more resources now in government than, you know, 25 years ago when we were having major battles. There's so much, there's a place for everybody, I feel, to show their own and to, you know, lift things up. But, you know, I mean, obviously there's other reasons. People have aspirations. People don't want to see other people have wins, but the wins are for the people of Guam, not for us. You know, in 10 years from now, I mean, you know, people might not even remember the kind of things that you did. You just have to, you know, figure out what you can do while you're in this situation.
Excellent. Frank, Kuya.
Sir.
It looks like the LT is hopeful. What do you think the 38th Guam legislature, now a Republican majority, right? Just, I guess you could say one short of a super majority. Are you hopeful that they can collaborate with the Tenorio administration or the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration?
You know, just listening to LT talk, he's not speaking on issues that anyone on the island should care left, right, red, blue, black, or white. There are issues that everyone living on this island have to deal with. So I think those issues, no matter who's in the legislature, should be no problem. But before this all happened, you know, red, blue, everybody's fighting, everybody's trying to prove a point, everybody's trying to take a stance, everybody wanted to be for their team. I think now we're past that. I think where the world has turned, the page has moved on, the book is new, and everyone knows, like LT said, there's real work to be done now. And the biggest difference now, I think, is that the entire world is watching. The entire world's watching. Red, white, blue, black, Democrat, Republican. The people expect certain things for the good of the people. I hear this all the time now. And if things aren't happening for the group of the people, they're ready to just get rid of people. Like, you know how, so for a long time, and you know, you saw the culture come, marriage, wife, baby, 2.5 kids, white picket fence, and that changed to this crazy party culture, crazy, man, almost do anything and it was okay culture. And I think we went so far that people are looking for, like LT said, a balance. They're looking for a balance. So I think everybody in the world's looking for that accountability. And I think that it's not a matter of them working together or not. I think it's of how well they're going to work together.
I think also, Brandon, you know, I always say this, we're living in a 212 square mile island, you know, elections happen every 2 years. You know, why do you have to escalate things? You're going to see each other at Payless. You're going to go, you might run into each other at the gas station. Hey, you might have a flat tire and somebody's going to have to save your butt. I mean, you know, it's kind of, I'm always shocked how people escalate, you know, and then, I mean, we're going to see each other at the Matai. How about we have mutual relatives, right? Or mutual friends? How do you, so, you can have a competitive, fierce politics, but my gosh, I'll give you an example. Tony Ada is from Sinanya, like I'm from Sinanya. And we ran against each other twice already, right? We were both number 2 in 2 elections.
Yep.
He's a friend of mine. I like him a lot. It's kind of like when I see him, I'm not ladzu at him. He's not ladzu at me. We might not agree on everything. We agree on a lot of things, I'll tell you. But that's the kind of collegiality that you need. I don't know why they're not going to happy hour together. Is what I'm thinking. Back in the day, right? The senators would say, they're out there, they're challenging each other on the floor. Oh, see these? Do you see that?
Oh yeah, okay.
I see the fireworks. Anyway, so they're challenging each other on the floor, right? And all this rhetoric, but guess what? They're like, "Hey, Johnny, let's go and have some drinks after this, right? De-escalate, right? Because we're gonna see each other tomorrow. You can't cancel each other out. That's the other thing, Brandon. When I'm thinking about all the cultural wars, you can't cancel people. You can't pretend that history didn't happen. And look, people did things at different stages. Times have changed. Times will change again. But you can't just cancel. I tell you, that's one thing that I found, pretty. You see it so much that it's kind of like it's so silly in the end. It becomes silly. We're gonna be here.
Yeah.
Chief, what do you think?
That's quite refreshing to hear the LT, speak like this, and he's right. That balance. Let's get serious. Let's have some fun doing it, right? And we've been in the circle together, right? Where it's partisan gubernatorial electoral politics. Okay, that happens all the time. Shoot, LT, to this day, I mean, I'm like a pariah to many people, and I wasn't even throwing the punches. But
John and I, we've been the veterans in past campaigns. It's one of those things where during election time, right? We're friends. We don't talk, right? But hey, man, if there was something, you had like a good win. It's one of those things you're like, that is a good one. My hat's up. You know what I mean? It's kind of like at a certain point, there's, you have to look at it. There's people, campaigns, some they get successful. Sometimes they suck, right?
And you're right. I think the word that you use, LT, was the collegiality of it. And that's your level of the candidates, right? You have to keep it that way. And typically, you guys, I'm glad, Tony Ad is a great guy. I totally agree with you. It's good to know, reminded that you're both from Sinanya. But a lot of times it's the underlings. It's that underlayer of people, the operatives, these guys who thrive in the black ops universe. I mean, that's for kids, stop it, right? To your point, when we leave at the end of the month of November at each electoral year, I'm going to see you at Payless. I'm going to see you at the gym, especially when you see these guys like at a party where you can't avoid them. They're right there, right? And I've seen guys, man, but for me, they'll look at me, turn the other way. Okay, good to see you again. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's fun. VERAfied Podcast brought to you by Truth Apparel. We have special guest, Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio. LT, thank you for joining us. We've got an easy question for you right now, right? I think this one comes from Franklin Arriola. Are you ready for this one?
Sure.
Okay. Where do you think our new public hospital should be located?
Well,
How would you, as governor, collaborate with the medical community, as it seems to be quite contentious? Easy for you. Too easy.
So, obviously, the decision for Manilao has been made. And what I think a lot of people need to realize is, we've been on this for like 3-4 years, right? And there hasn't been any earth turned yet, right? And GMH, as you guys, everybody knows, GMH has some of the best medical professionals in the world, right? have. It's just that their building is not. No matter what, we need a new building.
Yeah.
Right? We need a new building.
Correct.
And by the way, we're living in a 212 square mile island. It's not like I'm going to build a hospital. It's going to be in Oceanside. I'm in San Diego. It's 2 hours. I mean, everything is relative, right? But where I do think, though, that if I, and of course, no offense to the governor, right? But we're different, right? I mean, you respect your differences, and the governor is team captain right now in the government of Guam, right? I'm number 2. I'm not the team captain, but my job, right, is to give my opinions, and then also, once that decision is made, I'm part of the team, and I understand, that Guam is changing and it's growing, and Manilao is one area on the island. It was so clear to me when I was on a military helicopter after the typhoon, looking and surveying all the damage, why that place is a good place for the hospital. Now, where I think there could be improvements with the medical community is, I think it's talking with them and getting them empowered to shape the scope of the hospital. Right? Meaning that I think one point of contention has been the medical complex. And I think that some of the local doctors, with the investments they've made elsewhere on the island, are concerned that the government is going to come in, invest money to trump to overtake the private investment they've made, right? And even be a threat to their business. The way I see it is the amount of people that are going off island for specialty care is so much money going out of the island. And if we're able to direct the public investment and partner with these doctors and provide them opportunities to subsidize or pay for the medical equipment that they need, specialized medical equipment that they need, something that can be in line with their private practices and their specialty clinics, but be able to have the government, through grant funds or through revenues, because our revenues have been strong, to shoulder that cost and utilize and empower their medical expertise. I think that's one area. The other area that I feel is, hospital is the last resort. And we are we're kind of, I feel that the population of Guam, now that a lot of healthcare access has been secured or it's improving, we need to do the investments on the community side, of course, on prevention, but we need more people to do their screening so that we can catch these diseases at a cheaper, earlier, more successful path than, acute care, end stage at the hospital. But John, one of the things I know, and you know this, how many medical fundraisers are there, and how much time do you hear about people being displaced for months? And the governor's best point is, as a nurse, the best place to recover and to get well is with your family, close to as home as possible. So I still think that as governor, I feel that I can provide the leadership to reach across and understand really where the medical experts that we have, the doctors we have are a resource to the people of Guam. Each one of them I consider an asset.
100%.
And I think that I feel that government should be supporting their private practices. But certainly I think that they should be able to be consulted and shape what the scope is of the facilities that we build, or we don't build, based on what we already have on Guam.
Excellent. LT, your quick thoughts on the recent proposed legislation to reduce the GRT BPT from 5 to 4%? And then, do you favor part-time legislature?
Okay. Before I get there, John, can I just say the ARP? I just want to make a point. The hundreds of million that we have on reserve for ARP and developing the hospital, including the infrastructure, is going to benefit that part of the community. You know that the last power substation on Guam was built in the 70s. And one of the big dollar ticket items is going to be a $35 million power substation in Manilao. That's really going to help one of the fastest growing parts of the island as part of its core infrastructure, in addition to water and wastewater systems being improved for what area. And you guys remember when the big building was being the Manilao, what is that building called over there near, the condos? Anyway,
Ladera Tower?
Ladera. Remember when Ladera was first being built? Oh, there's a water problem. There's no water. The reality is that Maguinao and the surrounding areas going up to Jigo that's the place that's going to be developing for housing. And so the infrastructure that is necessary for the hospital is going to benefit everybody. So that's why I'm saying there's a big community plus for that project. Frank.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just a quick question. And I see your logic with the Manilo location has been decided upon. And, I think everyone knows, and we're in gubernatorial politics, right? Manilo is like the giant spot for what I call the bedroom business, right? It's a residential community, apartments, homes, etc. Population is huge. Barragata is close by. Deniro Jigo close by. So I'm not too concerned about that area in terms of, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And you're right, utilities infrastructure comes in here. Vince Akamoto and I think Tom Shea were talking about working with the Kapiolani people to bring in a women and children's hospital to occupy somewhere in Tumuning somewhere, which is great, right? I don't see why we can't have that as well, together with this new medical center, this hospital in
That's right. And by the way, our population is going to be increasing by like 25, 30,000 people in a short period of time. Yeah. There's room for all of us. And
I agree. Cool.
Okay, I'll never close a door on 5 to 4, especially when we're looking at the revenues. But I'll just say this: we have a big percentage of the revenue base coming in from the military contracts and the service contracts, and a lot of people that have been critical or been worried about the expanded militarization of the island always talk about, well, what is the federal government's contribution? And one way that the federal government contributes to the public services directly is based on the contributions for BPT. If you're a federal contractor, you know that all you do is bill in your 5% and the feds pay for it. It's kind of like money on the table. That being said, and of course, we already know that prices probably are not going to come down. But we also know that private businesses have been suffering from inflation. Wages are going up because of the limited workforce. So obviously there's got to be some relief to the local businesses, especially those that are at the forefront of tourism, right? These guys are the ones that have been, although the government, I'm really proud the government of Guam, because of its strong financial condition, was able for the first time to provide general fund assistance to businesses and individuals. Never happened before. We did that through a lot of the GITA programs. But I think that, the negotiation, I feel, or the discussion was going to be, how much money are we willing to cap for the government of Guam's budget that forces us to prioritize, and how much in excess of that, what are we going to do with it, right? So you've seen that, we've been getting excess revenues in excess of $100 million, right? Legislature has been utilizing that to help in certain ways. For a while, they were subsidizing the power bills of people, GPA. Right? Yeah. I feel that, these are probably the funds that can be targeted to business relief or to target business relief that for those businesses that are dealing with the inflation and dealing with the increased labor costs, right? So I feel that that's the discussion that could be made. I'm not a hard no on a 5 to 4. I would never rule that out, but I do have to say that there's got to be a way that we do not leave any money off the table from the federal contributions that are being made that finally can pay for public safety, health, and education. That's kind of like where I'm at on this. So I think it's good that Sean introduced the bill to get the discussion going. But I think we need to go in and delve into the numbers and the tax base.
Oh,
And LT, do you favor a part-time legislature?
I do favor a part-time legislature. Now, if we're going to keep him full-time, then I think that the legislators should get an increase. I think that it's going to be hard for people if they're going to leave a private sector or a public sector career and shift there. But if that's not going to happen, I'd say that we do a part-time legislature, and I'd like I honestly, I'm even open to the part-time 21. I like that because power, to me, the beauty about 21 back then is, it takes, it took, what was it, 12 people, right? Or 11 people to pass, 14 to override. That means that there's got to be more consensus because there's more people at the table. And the smaller you go, the more the power is concentrated in a few hands. So I guess I'm in two extremes. Either if we're going to stay with the status quo, you need to give those guys just more decent compensation, or we hold it the same. Part-time legislature, in my mind, and I know the legislature is starting to do this. Part-time legislature means that you have a structured number of sessions, and you're going to be focused, and we're not going to see some of these, bills that, you're just passing a bill because you can.
You need to pass one.
Yeah,
right.
And
the bill machines.
Yeah, I'm like one of the few Democrats maybe that would say that we're like way overregulated right now.
Well, good for you, because a lot of people believe that as well, right?
I told you over the years.
Actually,
you're a Republican.
The silver lining, though, I'm interested to see what the Doge is gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. Some things got to change, right? It's just making. I kind of was teasing some of the utilities people, right? Because they're like, a lot of what we do at water and power is we're doing things, spending money based on a consent decree, based on the standard. So Cesar said, are we going to have any standards? That's sort of a joke, but it's sort of serious, right? Because it might be open, but that empowers us to make sure that we're going. Do you see that? Anyway, you didn't see that fireworks
it actually looks good. It's okay.
No, but what I was going to say is that, you need to be able to, we're going to be in charge of making sure that what we have is going to last our kids and our grandkids, right? And I really have a problem with federal officials thinking that they know what's best. Even on some of the stuff, I'm always looking out on the ocean resources here. Why is somebody from NOAA going to tell us how we think we're going to save, preserve our corals? We know better, right?
Yes.
Or why is our air quality standard out here in the middle of the Pacific going to be the same as an inner city, the East Coast where it's congested? And I think that's one of the things that is exciting to see, force the discussion, from the new administration. There's other things, obviously, that I'm concerned about, but, people of the United States gave a mandate to President Trump, and as a leader of Guam, I need to figure out how I can fight for and push the interests of Guam in that agenda.
Excellent.
Great.
LT, Kuya, Frank, we've come to the end of the show. This is crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Man.
So much fun.
Fast.
This one flew by. Yeah.
Like, holy.
LT, we did all the heavy lifting with all these issues-oriented questions. Now the fun stuff.
Okay.
We made it to the verified top 5, but we're going to take it easy on you. Wherever we just want top 3. This is where I go to you and Frank and Brandon, and I give you the topic, and you just give me your list. So this episode, Verified top 5 in this case. Just give me 3. We want to know your top 3 favorite songs of all time. Think about it, right? All 3 of you. Think about it. That activity, you're running, and you can only have 3 songs on repeat. What are those 3 songs?
Wow.
Talk
Okay,
amongst yourselves.
I got
Chief,
mine.
let's start with him. Oh, that's
I
awesome.
got mine. Okay. For my, I of course I like George Michael's Faith, and that's because I mean I was in middle school when that thing came on. That was some of the fun times. Well, you're laughing, right? Because I was in middle school. But it's a good message, right? It's like fight on. Where the Streets Have No Name, U2, I always love them. And then I think for my fun naughty side, Erotic City from Prince.
Oh,
wow.
No, I don't think you can get any more.
Kids don't look that up on YouTube.
What an eclectic list. Okay.
But okay. But I just say that I do like rock and roll, and I didn't want to say this is my top 3 because Matt might get pissed, but I do like Led Zeppelin's "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." But it's definitely not about my personal relationship. It's just that I like that jam.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, Kuya
Yes,
or
sir.
Frank? Which one?
I can go. Mine is CNC Music Factory. I Got the Power.
I think
the
that's
power.
Snap. I Got the Power to Snap.
Yes.
It is Snap. It is Snap.
It is.
Yeah. It is Snap.
I got good ears.
Yeah. And then
That is a good one.
it would be Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing.
Sexual Healing.
Yeah, love that.
And then there's a song by Soulja. I can't remember the name of it, but it's something about if you see me, say hi. Let me find the name. I'll find the name for it real quick.
Okay, so you and LT went to like the most eclectic lists. You threw it up in a basket. You pulled them out. Those are good ones. I don't know the Soulja one, Kuya, but I like those other ones. All right,
I'll find it. Don't worry. Thank you.
Franklin.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit. Let me just start with this. Many of you know, I played the drums, and I've been in some bands before, growing up, whatnot. Even now, being an old guy, so it's extremely difficult, if not impossible, to pick 3 of my favorite songs. I mean, come on, are you serious? Number 1, but number 2, even finding 3 of my favorite bands, which I think that's freaking hard. It just is, right? I mean. And I'm a 70s rocker kind of a guy, kind of, I mean, so I'm not going to pick a song. I'm going to pick the bands or the 3 groups. I'm going to pick, 2 from like the 70s types and then 1 contemporary, right?
Well, yeah,
so
it's typical of Frank to be the rebel. I love it. Go for it, Chief.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, yeah. So, for the rock side, I mean, I would probably go with maybe the Doobie Brothers probably would be 1. I love all their music,
Nice.
It's
Make
really
a wish,
easy.
baby.
Yeah, you can either, Harley down the highway, or you can drink it on the beach with the beers and the boys, right? That would be 1 group.
Wait, Frank, sorry. Tom Johnston Doobies or Michael McDonald Doobies?
The whole shebang. I'm not
Okay.
one of the. Oh yeah, 100%.
Chicago is Chicago. It doesn't matter if Peter Cetera was in it, right?
Chicago would be a number 2,
Wow.
but instead of Chicago, I picked Steely Dan, right? Yeah, so the band, right? That's my college era, like all of them, all the albums from.
Buy a Thrill.
Yeah, Can't Buy a Thrill all the way to who knows what, Gaucho or whatever. Anyway, those are 2. My third one is a contemporary group that I just started to listen to, and I am absolutely so impressed by these guys, especially when they go live. The Dave Matthews Band.
Oh yeah,
have you guys heard those guys?
Oh yeah,
Just saw them, Frankie.
They have a
the,
lot of
Hall of
good
Fame.
live. They have good live recordings. Yeah.
Wow.
So I will say this, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't like, I don't like listen to the words, the lyrics, just because I just don't. English major and all, right?
I'm with you too on the beat, right? I'm more on the beat.
I'm a drummer, so it's the rhythm, right? It's the drummer, the bass guitar, and the rhythm guitar. When those three guys are rocking and rolling, that's why Dave Matthews, his band is his bass player, Carter Buford, the drummer. Whoa. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I couldn't do 3 songs, boys. I just couldn't do it, man.
That's
a good approach. Good approach there.
Okay, Frankie, because you, in typical fashion, you trumped us. So.
Shoot. How
does that go, Frankie? Again,
the weave.
You weave.
The weave.
LT, he has the weave. He has the
weave. LT, you want to do the Trump weave? No, is that going to get you in?
Oh, you have to go like this for the. Yeah. That's his thing, right?
The YMCA.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, but what were yours?
You want mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So if you want mine, I'll just tell you right now, I'll just give you the greatest band in the world. I'll just give you the band since Frankie went that way. Zeppelin, without question.
Oh, yeah.
And right now in my head, because of my ADHD, I've got When the Levee Breaks playing right here, and I got A Whole Lot of Love, and somewhere there's Kashmir in the back.
Yeah,
Kashmir. Kashmir
is really
what a
good.
Classic, huh?
Oh, yeah. And,
Kashmir
is one of those songs I can listen to running or working out or even laying down on the couch. I mean, that's fantastic. So Zeppelin.
So
Zeppelin,
I Kashmir was what I thought about it.
I'm adding these songs just so you know.
The reason why I did Maybe I'm Gonna Leave You is because I used to go to the Old Tower of London, and it's got, I think now a church, but they have, they always had that shuffleboard. Yeah, on Epal Road, and they had the best jukebox back then in the late 90s, early 2000s. And Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is always one I play when we're playing pool or CCR.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
There's just so many.
Fool in the Rain. Yep. Oh, yeah. So Zeppelin for me. Ladies and gentlemen, the VERAfied Podcast, episode 4, season 2, has come to a conclusion. We're having so much fun.
Look at mine. Look at this.
To our
my balloons just come out any minute now.
God. They know we're concluding, so we get the fireworks. LT, thank you so much, sir.
Hey, thanks a lot. I love this.
Man, thank you, LT, for hanging out with us, LT.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, we love having you on
really
board.
Appreciate it.
We'll bring you
Brandon,
back
for the
down the
LT,
line.
for Kyle.
Thanks.
I'm John Mafnas. We are out. Peace. Be kind to each other.
Thank you, everybody. I expanded my Spotify list. Thank you.
Oh, there's
my balloons.
There's your balloons.
My poor nephew Atreyu is going to be listening to Kashmir on the way home to Jigo.
For real.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
beautiful people. See you soon.
Thank you.
Out.
Peace.